Welcome to another edition of the Mexican Soccer Show. This is the Mexican Soccer Show Express, happening on Thursday nights. Now, let's go ahead and get started. I'm Wiso from FootballSource.com, and today, a special episode of the Mexican Soccer Show. A little express mode is what we like to call it. We'll be talking about the 22-man list. Juan Carlos Osorio has finally elected 22 players. And we'll also be talking about the Liga MX Jornada 5, all the action that's happening. And who better yet to talk about all of this than our very own Mr. Tom Marshall. Tom, from Guadalajara, how are you, sir, on this fine Thursday night?
I'm good, Wee. So glad the list came out eventually. I mean, I think waiting all morning for it to come out, and they always kind of tease you, don't you, the federation? But yeah, it's out. We've got
the days of Piojo telling you, hey, I'm going to tweet it out tomorrow at 3:05. Everyone be ready. I'm going to tweet it out are over, right?
They're all gone.
All gone.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and jump into it. Usually won't take so much like we do on the Mexican Soccer Show, because this is the Express Show, so it should be fun. The list came out. Tom, really quickly, I'll put it on the screen here, but your reactions, just overall, and the expectations of it.
Yeah, I think it's interesting. What's been interesting is on my Twitter, it's been so polemic, the opinions that people are putting out there. Some of them are really happy that there's younger players, and then some of them are like, what is Osorio doing? So there seems to be not much middle ground. I mean, I'm really excited about, seeing Carlos Salcedo, even though he's not had a great year so far in 2016. Eric Gutierrez, Pizarro, and Irving Lozano together.
Well, let's go over the list as you see it right now. Obviously, Chu Corona and Palacios, Jerry Flores, Gerardo Rodriguez, Yasser Corona, Araujo, which was a surprise, but at the same time, I think a lot of people were seeing it. Rivas, Jimenez, Jorge Torres, Nilo, Medias, Salcedo, the only Chivas players, which was a lot of people had that controversy. I think they did well, allowed them to go. Molina, Zavala, Ramirez, Eric Gutierrez, Pizarro, El Chapito Montes, and some of that we kind of already knew. Aquino, Dueñas, Jürgen Damm coming back, and the forwards, Herrera, Henry Martin, and Irving Lozano. To you, just right off the bat, Tom, Palmera Rivas? I mean, just kind of, what are the names that kind of surprised you?
I think Picolín. He's 30 years old, and he's just been around for so long. You know what I mean? I think that I just never thought he was national team material, and I don't think he is, to be honest, because I prefer Jonathan Orozco from Monterrey. Gerardo Rodriguez.
Is this maybe because he wants to just see new? He's seen everybody else. Gave Picolín a chance from. If he was, in my opinion, one of the best keepers last season.
Oh yeah, no, he's in form, definitely. I mean, he's definitely, the informed keeper. Last season, he started this season pretty well as well. But I don't know. I don't think he's going to get another call up. I think this is going to be his only call up ever. Because you look at Talavera's not there, Ochoa's not there. Antonio Rodriguez from Chivas is injured, so I just can't see him being in. When everybody's available. But I don't know. I think the other names stand out. Like I said, I think the youngsters. I'm really excited about the youngsters. I think that for me is the main take. I'm really excited to see a Mexican national team potentially with Lozano on one wing and Jürgen Damm on the other. With Eric Gutierrez controlling the midfield alongside Pizarro. I mean, that for me is generally, I think it's going to give a look into the future of Mexico's national team.
I think just barely looking at the list. Obviously, we already talked about the keepers. Nestor Araujo, with the big error that he had yesterday, still on the list. We talked about Palmera Rivas, Salcedo. Those are very deserved, I think. Molina and Cándido Ramírez, which I don't think he's not a starter in his team, and he's still on the list. But I like Lozano. Overall, it's a very diluted, if maybe is the right term, maybe a weak list. But at the same time, this is a friendly. It's just to see players, give them, so that way Juan Carlos Osorio has seen him on the pitch, close to him. They're going to have some training at the Centro de Alto Rendimiento with them. But the big story is looking at Tigres, right? 6 players from Tigres that are on this list, which they were the champions. It seems fitting.
Yeah, no, and unlike Chivas, Tigres are actually willing to, to give that many players kind of run out with the national team. I think that shows the confidence that's flowing through Tigres right now, and the lack of confidence in Chivas. So yeah, I mean, no, I agree. I think Tigres obviously the best team right now. It's natural that they're going to get the call up. Same with Pachuca. They're top of the league right now, and you see they've got a good few call ups as well.
Yeah.
I think I wanted to point out just another thing. I think there's a lot of players that I'm seeing in this list who have kind of been in the national team or been in youth national teams before, and kind of over the last year or two have kind of just fallen out. They've been on the fringe and then they've fallen out. So I'm looking at the likes of Israel Jimenez, the likes of Araujo, who was at the Olympics, if I believe, and he's started only just in the last couple of years to get regular playing time. I'm looking at Montes, who before the last World Cup he was a starter, broken leg, and he's starting to get his way back. Jesus Zavala, he was a starter with Chepo. Molina, I think, has had his chance with Herrera, but he's another a good player. And then Aquino's back in, and Lalo Herrera. I think there's a few players there that I think that this is a good test now for him to go to make an impact next Wednesday and actually make that jump from being that fringe kind of grey area to be, if not a starter, then a regular in the squad.
Yeah, because you always see the Europeos are going to come in and they're all going to start, aside from maybe, if Memo Ochoa or Apulido would come in. But even then, I like the day, 4 players are debuted. It's the first time in the Mexican national team. Alejandro Palacios, Cándido Ramírez, Eric Gutierrez, and Irving Lozano, obviously, that are there. Tom, to you, anyone that's missing out of the bat right now, for me, Gullit Peña, but not having the greatest, obviously, games with Chivas. Anyone else that you would like to see in this list that's not on there?
Yeah, I think the obvious thing is the Chivas players. Yeah. I mean, I think that it would have been nice to see Gullit. It would have been nice to see Orbelin Pineda. It would have been nice to see Raul Lopez, the right back. I think it's Alanis as well. It's unfortunate for them on the personal level. This is the interesting thing with what Chivas has done. Just a bit of background.
Yeah. Oh, I think we might have lost Tom. Tom, if you could come back, would really, really like to see what you're about to say, but it looks like he was just kind of a little bit disconnected, but we'll keep going. Hopefully he jumps back on and see what's going on. For me, especially the list, like I said, it's a weak, very diluted list. At the same time, we are going to be going up against Senegal, which it's not a FIFA date. Players from Senegal we haven't really seen that are either in the local league or that are having, that many minutes in playing in a not very competitive league. So it'll be interesting to see how this team kind of looks at that strong, physical African team that's coming up. And again, it's Miami. Obviously, it's not going to be the greatest of games where there's going to be 100% participation from everyone, looking at injuries and everything like that. So to me, a very weak list, but, we'll see. Juan Carlos Osorio, it's a manager that likes and loves to study the game, and I'm sure he took his time with this. Looks like Tom is back. Tom, I know we lost you a little bit, but you were about to say a little background on Chivas.
Yeah, they won't. They're not letting them, not letting the players join up, and I think that potentially, listen, Mexico has a link with Soccer United Marketing for average 5 friendlies a year. Not all of them are going to be on FIFA dates, so it's early days, this, but potentially, if Chivas can do this, then what stops other clubs doing it? And then I think the federation has a real problem. Yeah. I mean, I don't think it'll get to that, but really, Chivas have opened a bit of a can of worms, or potentially anyway, because like I said, if clubs suddenly have the power to say, you know what, none of us, if Tigres would have said this as well, and Pachuca would have said this, then suddenly, what is this game? I mean.
I think that's where the FMF is just going to strike out. Maybe there was already some kind of understanding, and it was just a one-time thing. I really don't see this happening more often, and I think it's been happened before. We've seen that already. National team call-ups are more and more important, but you do have those those games that are there and wanted to see players. So good thing. Juan Carlos Osorio, I think he would have voiced his opinion that he really needs those type of players that are there. But that's
definitely. And Wiso, just picking up on one thing you said there about it being a weak list, I think it's a fair list.
Yeah,
I think it is, considering that it's a domestic only. So considering you've not got the Europe-based players, you've not got a Giovanni Dos Santos over there in MLS, and you've got a couple of injuries and stuff. I think it's a fair list, and I say that going on to the problem that's sweeping the Mexican game at the minute, the debate about naturalized players, about foreign players. Because if you look at it now, you look up front and you look at someone like Henry Martin, and really, I think he's a good player with talent. But is he ready for national team? I'd say no. But then who is? What other Mexican players are starting games? Strikers. Last weekend, for example, there were 5 Mexican starters in the Liga MX. Strikers.
Yeah, and that's a good point. I saw that on your Twitter where it was almost hard to believe there was only 5 of them in the team. And it's an ongoing discussion of how many, naturalizados, how many foreign-based players. The reason why I say, we have some players, like I said, Cándido Ramírez, Palmera Rivas, who I know we've seen, who I don't see national team material. On all of these, I don't see that many being national team material, just like you said, Palacios. So I think it's a list. If this was a FIFA date, if obviously we would say in week, but for what it is, I think it fits perfectly. Let's be honest. For a Senegal game in Miami, where starting of the year, to see some of those players are going to make it, and also some of the other there were some players that are going to be in the Olympic squad that Juan Carlos Osorio wanted to see for this game. That he's getting ready to release that in the training that they're going to have with the Olympics. Correct?
No, definitely. Eric Gutierrez, Lozano, Pizarro. As soon as those Olympics are over, they'll be in the frame for qualifying in the second half of this year.
Yeah, definitely. All right, well, we're going to switch. Anything else, Tom, with the Mexican national team and then the list?
No, I think that's it. I think the main point I'm taking is, like, on the positive side, let's look out for these young players. We could even have a bet about how many, Gutierrez, Pizarro, Lozano, Salcedo, how many caps they're going to win over the next 10 years. Because I think, especially for Gutierrez and Lozano, who are making their debuts, I think it could be the first of many, many Mexican caps.
And then one other thing, 22 players, not 23. I think it's fair. You not to take 3 keepers. Why take them when you're probably only going to, so you're not going to put 3 keepers in one game. Maybe half Corona and the other half maybe Palacios, as we'll see. So I know it was a question of you guys why only 22. Usually it's 23. But let's move on to Liga MX Jornada 5. Looking at the team, we're going to go ahead, Tom. Game to watch this weekend for everyone. If you cannot miss one game, what's the game that you have to watch this weekend for you?
America against Santos Laguna in the Azteca. Santos coming off the back of 3 good victories. It really looks like it's coming together under Zubeldia. America coming off the back of a win as well, but it was against Dorados, so everybody seems to beat Dorados these days. So yeah, I think that's the game, because I think Nacho Ambriz badly needs a win in the Azteca. He badly needs an authoritative win against a good side. So yeah, so I think that's a real test for both. A litmus test for where this Santos Laguna is at, and how much is it advanced under the new 35-year-old Argentine coach.
Yeah, so we're looking at the schedule on Friday, Querétaro, Veracruz. Looking at that game also with Cruz Azul and Tijuana, and let's just give a little prediction for now, and also with Jaguares and Tigres on those 3 games. Querétaro, Veracruz, Tom.
It's a difficult one to pick. That I'm going to go for a draw.
When it's too difficult, you got to just do draw.
No, but both those teams are in desperate need of a win. Exactly. They've had really poor starts to the season, so they both need a win. Chiapas. What's the second game? Sorry.
Yeah.
Chiapas Tigres.
Chiapas Tigres, and then Xolos Cruz Azul. Xolos.
Xolos. Yeah, you back Tigres against anybody. The only game that I don't back Tigres is Monterrey in Monterrey Stadium, because I think that I bet Tigres are the best team. So yeah, you're gonna back Tigres, but then again, the way Ferretti plays with defense and stuff, wouldn't surprise me if Chiapas can nick a draw either. Tijuana Cruz Azul, I'd just about go Cruz Azul. I think Herrera's got a real struggle on at Tijuana, and I know that they've been okay, but I think Cruz Azul coming back like they did last week, he'll have a bit of confidence.
Yeah. Well, we talked about the America Santos game, very, very important on that. Puebla Atlas also on Saturday. Monterrey Dorados, León Monarcas Morelia, and Chivas Toluca, all on Saturday. Lots of games in about 5 or 6 hours. So hopefully we see great there. But all the home teams, I'm thinking at least we'll get the win. Not that many draws last week, but who are you looking? And you talked about America and Santos, but Puebla Atlas.
Puebla Atlas. If you're putting a bet on, I'd bet on Atlas.
Yeah.
And I say that because Puebla are in the middle of a Copa Libertadores tie against Racing. So, if there's a time where Atlas can get a result over in Puebla, I think this is it. So I'd go for a draw or an Atlas win there. Monterrey should be easy against Dorados. Leon Morelia, Tena coming in. That's a big game for Tena.
Big game for Tena.
I mean, I'm not sure over there, Wiso, you're from Leon. I mean, I'm not sure what people are saying about Tena, but it's that appointment didn't excite me,
I think from Jesus Martinez saying that it was that they had it was sudden news, and very happy that obviously Pizzi has left, but the Hermanos Tena coming in with Chava Reyes, a huge surprise. I know for people that I've talked to with Leon, seeing that where that came out of, I didn't know that was even a relationship from the Grupo Pachuca, almost there, but we'll see. We talked a little about the Mexican soccer show. Tena's teams don't really look like Leon's teams, but again, maybe that's what Leon needs to have that. So the final one, Chivas. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't know with Chivas. I couldn't predict they're going to win this game. I put draw on that. I think it's a desperate. I put draw on that, but we'll see where it's at. Sunday game, Pumas and I just lost it.
Pachuca.
Pumas, Pachuca. Pachuca on fire right now, but will Pumas regain its form? I think very interesting game that's happening on Sunday.
Yeah, I think after America Santos, Pumas, Pachuca on Sunday, it's a bit of a warm up for the that bowl going on Sunday afternoon.
Yeah, right. State. Some kind of big bowl with
Tazón.
El Tazón.
Super Tazón.
Super Tazón. Not a very good translation. One game only on Sunday, like last week, but we'll see, guys. Well, interesting. Jornada 5. We'll see if Pachuca continue to be the leader, or will someone also take its place. This is the Mexican Soccer Show Express. Just a quick two subjects to talk about here with Tom. Thank you so much, Tom, taking the time out of your busy schedule there in Guadalajara on a Thursday night. We'll be doing this hopefully weekly with other members of the Mexican Soccer Show and other people, experts from the media. But Tom, to you in Mexico, thank you so much for joining us. Any last words for this weekend? Who do you got? Do you have the Broncos or Carolina Panthers?
Probably not the right person to ask about that.
Everybody can give it.
I'll go for who's playing?
Carolina Panthers and Denver Broncos.
Yeah, definitely the Panthers, isn't it?
Definitely the Panthers.
You can't look beyond the Panthers. What a team they've got. The midfield's incredible.
All right, guys. Well, that's enough from us. Thank you so much for watching this edition of the Mexican Soccer Show Express. Watch us on Monday night for Mexican football on the Mexican Soccer Show with all of the staff: Cesar, Jason, Johnny, Tom, Naib, and myself. Hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. And also follow us on Facebook and on Twitter at the Mexican Soccer Show. Hope you guys have a wonderful night. And we will see you all later on.